10 minutes late. So let me just check the YouTube real quickly. There we are. And it is live. So if anybody's tuning in, welcome and I hope you enjoy. But today we are going to have a small conversation about Mr. Jaden Smith. As most people know, he's the son of Jada and Will Smith.
Okay, I'm back. It's letting me back.
Okay. So I was just saying that to anybody that might just happen to tune in. So as you can see, what's up on the screen is basically got a picture. This is Jaden Smith, and first we got like Zaya Wade and Dwayne Wade and his wife, and now we have Jaden. So I'm not quite sure if Jaden is actually just doing this just for the because he's trying to make uh, you know what just for the advertisement and stuff. But at the same time, there are stories and whatnot. But for me, the stories haven't been confirmed, and yeah, it's to me, it's like I'm just like they are really pushing what they're trying to push hard, and it's a bit concerning. And basically, my co-host Kingdomminded said, "Is this why nations fall?" So, like, I just want to, I thought it'd be a good idea to have a conversation around that. Is this why nations fall? So that's my little short monologue, and then I'm going to like just get opinions from Natasha and Kingdomminded, and who would like to just start it off? Natasha.
Yeah, let's not all jump in at once. So to answer the question, right, because it's a direct question, so I'll answer it directly. Is this why nations fall? I'll say no, right? Because if the question is asking directly, is a young person like Jaden, and I do believe he's of legal adult age, but he still would be considered a young adult. I don't think it's his fault that he has chosen to express himself in this way. He's been very consistent, to be honest, when it comes to his creativity, from what I've seen. What I will say is nations will fall on permissive parenting, right? So
Mm-hmm.
again, the blame is less on the kids, but how kids are reared. So permissive parenting is what I would look at first.
Okay, so I would have to agree. That's a definite. Like soon as you said that, first thing I'm thinking of is like Will and Jada, and then also Jada's mother. Because she said some stuff around that round table about like how she pretty much groomed Jada into like the sexual beast that she is. And that's just what I got from Jada listening to Jada and how she talked about her, her upbringing and her sexual upbringing. So, yeah, so I would definitely agree. Kingdom-minded. What's your viewpoint?
Well, I don't know too much about them. I've heard things here and there, but when I first saw the picture, I know that nations have fell because of the sexuality that is permitted
Mm-hmm.
and when there are no limits. And I agree with Natasha where she says that because there's a thing
We lost Kingdom-minded. There's a thing. I hold her
I'm sure
word for
she'll
her.
be back.
Yeah, I hold her word for it. She said there's
from a
a thing. She's
two-parent
gonna say, where was that?
household.
Where was it?
Uh-oh,
You back?
hello.
Yeah.
Oh, so he comes from a two-parent household,
Mm-hmm.
and you hear this spoke on in the YouTube spaces, and you see it spoken about politically
Mm-hmm.
that two-parent households are better. Well, he's a product of a two-parent household, but the parenting and the permissive will that is allowed. It is allowed to let children just be free, where there's no parameters, where there's, we just, it's like having a house, a huge yard with no fence, and you just allow your children to just run around and
So the girl's kingdom minded. She's coming in and out. So we're having a couple little technical issues. That's okay. We're just
and
as Anton says, we're building as we fly. We're building the plane as we fly. So
yeah, and we can see that this is the result of putting no limits, no parameters. I think someone brought up earlier, the basketball guy,
oh,
D
Dwayne Wade.
Wade.
Yeah.
Yes, I personally believe that they should have put some sort of parameters, even though he's not my child, and I have no say so. I don't
Hmm.
live with them, so I can't say what they did or what they didn't do. So maybe I shouldn't speak on that part. It is the making it so public.
I guess the question would be is how is it does it how does it affect you like with the way you parent? Is this something
You're
you
20.
would let your kids see, you don't want them to see, or is it something you warn them about? How do you interpret it to your kids?
Say that again.
How does it affect your family life? Like when something like this comes along, like one of the little ones come along, or even someone like, hey, look at this. What do you think about this? Or look at Jaden. Jaden's wearing this. I want to wear this. You know. So like it has an effect where they feel like
Okay,
they want.
I can hear again now. Okay. I think when the screen, because the picture is up, I
Hmm.
can usually tell when I've gone out because I'll see a circle going round and round. But when I
Yeah.
don't see that, I don't know that it's not.
Yeah. Yeah. So long as you see the picture, you know that you're there.
No, the picture's never gone anywhere.
Okay. Okay. So how do you feel like it affects you and like your family, the family? You know, what is the word I'm looking for? Like, so basically everything has some type of an effect, like with us socially. Like, is something like this? Does it have any bearing at all on your family life? Like,
I just came back in. I don't know how to rectify this.
okay, Natasha.
Hmm.
So
So if I'm in,
you got big kids. You got big kids,
yes,
and then one of them comes home and they like talk like, and then this is what they're talking about. Like this is yeah, this is this. They're telling you this is what's up. What do you think? And they're asking your opinion, and they say, "What do you think, mom? What
yeah.
would be what would be your first like line of like what would be your first response?"
So one, I think parenting is best done proactively, right? Like trying not to
Hmm.
be
Reactive.
reactive, caught by surprise by certain things. And you're
Hmm.
absolutely right. I do have older kids, officially, legally in Canada, they're both adults at this point, right? So I
Yeah.
have my quote unquote baby who is 18 as of January, and I have my eldest who will be 23 later on this year. As they were
Hmm.
growing up, though, also in a two-parent household, um, they understood or tried to make them understand what the values were, what the principles of the house were. And us as parents, we also have to be adaptable because the world that we grew up in, myself in a Western country, their father from a quote unquote developing country. I hate that term, but we'll use it because
Hmm.
that's the nomenclature. um, we have our own perspectives. generally skewing conservative or more conservative, um, that might be different from, what is commonly seen, let's just put it that way, in, Western culture today. But
Yeah.
parenting is a serious responsibility. And so all of those things that I mentioned, the values, the principles, how adaptable are you, if at all, to adjusting to current society, that needs to be discussed before you have kids. Like, I don't know how many people are actually doing that. I hope they are. The results kind of say they're not, because, terms like permissive parenting are fairly new, right? I don't think back in the 1950s or 1850s you had any such thing as permissive parenting. As a matter of fact, kids were independent a whole lot earlier, um, you know, generations ago. Now, they tend to
Hmm.
be quite a bit coddled in Western societies. They're
Yeah.
staying home longer, and there's nothing inherently wrong with that per se. But again, I'll say it for the third time, and I'll stop there so I don't, repeat myself too often. But, a strong set of values, a core set of principles, being consistent but also adaptable is really important if you are going to undertake parenting. Parenting in and of itself is a serious responsibility. It requires forethought, not afterthought. And ideally, it's done in a two-parent home. Can it be done in a single parent home? Sometimes it has to be, right? Like if a spouse passes away or one of the parents passes away. But
Hmm.
ideally, it's done in a two-parent. So,
Okay.
yeah.
Definitely. I would definitely agree. And it just made me think of some things when you were speaking and stuff about when we're parenting, when like just to those folks who are going to become parents. And if you have a desire in life, uh, it's I feel like parents are more pressured today to not instill their values, but rather the values of others. And I personally feel like there's a huge pressure like towards that. Like, and if you do push like more traditional values, then people start telling you're old school and you need to get with it, and people don't do things like that anymore. And it's to me that's also concerning because I feel like parents aren't free to actually raise their kids because everyone else is raising their kids, from the social media to government to teachers and whatever child care services are around, because you got to walk on eggshells everywhere. So what I notice is most people, like if they're at the supermarket and the kids are making noise, for the most part, most people are like, "Oh, calm down, calm down." They're afraid to actually speak firmly to the children, like in public places, and that's something that I've noticed. And to me, it's a bit it's a bit frustrating. It's hard sometimes to see how the kids are coming up, because I know it's not going to bode well for them in the future when they do come along uh, to someone like me, who they may come to my cycling camp just for instance or something, and I'm like, no, you can't do that, or oh, we are doing it this way, and they don't understand like how to really take instruction, or understand that the instruction is to actually help them and progress safely, and get the best out of them. So that's what I see, just taking like a piece out of what you're saying and stuff. Kingdom Minded, you back?
Not
No,
yet.
sound
She
like,
might be hearing us. Yeah.
yeah, it's not
Just to
sound like
jump
she was
off,
running across the room, but go ahead.
just to jump off what you were saying.
Yes, right,
Oh, go ahead. Go ahead. No,
right
no.
when you, right when you said my name, it went out because I just unmuted. But I'm gonna say I agree with you that when parents are
So it's Kingdom Minded sound like she's having issues that I was having. That's why I came to the workspace so I can get away from that issue. So
okay,
you back?
um, I don't know. I don't know what to do.
Go ahead, we can hear you. She disappeared again.
Yeah, I think she's just concerned about her son in the background. Um, I was gonna say a quick story about when you mentioned, Ines, parents worrying about what other people think about them. I
Mm-hmm.
remember I was pregnant with my son. My daughter was about 4 and a little bit, or maybe 3 and a little bit, almost 4 years old. And she had her first meltdown. She's only had two meltdowns in
Mm-hmm.
her whole life. So she had her very first meltdown. We were out, the three of us at the time, plus me being pregnant. We were out in a large shopping mall, and I think she wanted some particular thing at the department store. And
Yeah.
she went like completely ballistic because she wanted this thing, and we had told her no, right? So it was embarrassing, one, because she was super loud, right? Practically screaming. But I remember me with my big belly. I might have been like 6 or 7 months pregnant at the time, so like super visibly pregnant. I picked up this kid with one arm and grabbed her and walked to the bathroom, right? So if you're gonna scream, right, because we'd asked her to stop screaming, but she
Yeah.
refused to stop, you're gonna scream, okay, you're gonna scream in private. So picked her up with the one arm, me and my big belly, went to the women's washroom and just scooted down so we were eye level, right? Look her in
Mm-hmm.
her eyes while she's screaming, acting the fool, and stayed in the women's washroom until she calmed down, right? And she did not have another meltdown until the very funny one as a teenager. It involved a double hamburger that she wanted, but moving on. Um, but she didn't have a tantrum for all of her, elementary school years because
Mm-hmm.
she knew, like, we were not going to do that. You can't embarrass us. You're not always going to get what you want. This is how
Mm-hmm.
it is. I didn't care, even me with my big belly, taking it was like 100 meters, 150 meters to walk to the women's washroom. I don't care. Like, I want to make sure that she's safe and she's okay. Everyone else should be able to enjoy their shopping day, like
Yes.
all of those things are coming into play. You can't really worry about what the world is going to think of you. You need to know what's most appropriate for your child and what makes sense in the moment. Don't beat on
Definitely.
them. I'm not a big fan of corporal punishment, even though I am Jamaican and grew up that way myself. um,
Mm-hmm.
their dad, right? My ex husband also wasn't a fan of corporal punishment. He did not grow up that way at all. So even though that was my kind of upbringing, this is his household. We follow, the rules that he wanted to establish. So that was the quickest thing, the quickest way that I could resolve to get that tantrum or that situation under control. And it worked,
Yeah.
right? So
Yeah.
again, not really worrying too much about what society is going to think of you, but doing what's best to raise your kids in the way that your household is deemed appropriate. Again, the values
Definitely.
and principles.
Definitely. And real quick, Natasha, I'm gonna bounce off of what you just said, but do me a favor. Because I can't do it because I've just got my head's flustered right now. But if you could just in the Discord, drop the link in the Discord. I'm gonna continue the conversation like on this vein, um, and not worry so much about Jaden, but like just the parenting thing. I think it's an interesting conversation.
Sure.
So, but
Go ahead.
And
yeah,
now that
go
I've
ahead.
turned my Wi-Fi off, now it's staying, which I don't understand.
So yeah, go ahead, Kingdom Minded. Did you hear what Natasha said?
I heard like 30 seconds of what she
Okay,
was saying about her daughter and having a meltdown,
meltdown.
and then
Yeah.
it went out again. So I don't know.
Okay. So I'm gonna continue and I'm gonna bounce off of what she said basically, and I totally agree with the disuse of corporal punishment, and the only reason that I actually it was weird. Like my ex-wife and I, when my daughter came along, I was like, yeah, she's getting a whooping if she's out of line, and she was really adamant about like not, putting hands on my daughter and then my son. So I basically pivoted and I said, okay, I'm going to make these children understand. I may not touch them, I may not put my hand on them, but I had to switch up and say, okay, I can't be the cool guy to hang out with. I can't be like cool daddy. I have to be the person that, like, if something goes down, the buck stops here. So basically, that's the position that I took. Basically, so and my daughter would tell you, she's 22 going 23, and she would tell you what's my most famous line to her, and say, like something we'll have a comment. Even up to now, we have a conversation and say, I'm your father. I'm your dad, not your friend. We can talk. Yeah, you're older now. We can hang out. We could go to the movies. We could go to dinner. We can do all of that. We can have jokes and all that stuff. But at the end of the day, I'm your dad first, and I'm going to speak to you as your dad. But she's been having problems because she feels like, because she's older now, like, so we should be more like friends. And I told her, I said, that's okay. I noticed you call me less, and I'm fine by that. Long as you understand that I am, I am your dad first, and then it's gonna come a time when you're going to seek advice. Whether you choose to now or a month from now, it's fine, or even a year from now, you're going to look to seek advice and stuff. So I'm fine by that, but I really stand by the you don't have to raise your hand if you, like, from day one, let them know, like, let them know their position, let them know their role, so that they don't get out of line, so they're not screaming in the shop, they're not testing your boundaries. So it's something you have to establish early. It's not easy to do, because they're the kids, you love them, you want to hug them and pick them up and show them, tons of grace and stuff. But then you have to, as the adult and the parent, to, like, say, okay, this is where it stops. So I really admire the fact that Natasha took her to the bathroom, and that was a boundary. Like, she understood, like, this is what's up. I guess that's why she never done it again. But go ahead, Kingdom Minded.
I just wanted to ask, do either of you find it weird? Because for some reason it feels different for me when I hear people in government say, these are our children. Your children are our children. They belong to us too. Does that bother you when you hear that?
It would bother me if I had little ones. So, and yeah, it would definitely bother me. And I think they say that because they're thinking of the economy, because they're trying to grow the economy, and they're looking for bodies, not really to have anyone to help them or anything, like, to not to help them to be prosperous. And your child, they're looking for bodies to fuel their economy. So that's why they say this, the children, it's the children. So that's what I think anyway.
On my end, the short story is yes, I think it's weird. I don't like that language. I am pretty big on words and how they're used. I also have a personal philosophy on like ownership, right? Like people can't be owned. So for ease of conversation, generally, I will talk about my kids, right? But I don't think I own my kids. I don't have ownership over my kids. They are independent people. Um, I am there to steward them. Their father was there to steward them. We will continue to do so. Our roles as parents are never ending, kind of thing, even though they're, like I said earlier, both officially adults. So I don't
Hmm.
like ownership language. I don't know. Maybe it's, going back to the whole slavery thing and the black context of slavery, but I definitely wouldn't want a third party government slash bureaucracy using language of ownership over myself or quote unquote my children either. So it is
Yeah.
problematic.
Yeah, but they definitely do it though. I don't trying to figure, like what is really the angle. I think they are trying to put together some type of, not so much army, but, or like workforce to basically keep the nation going, because China was having the issue with children having children. I think Anton and Kevin Samuels and a few other people spoke on it, how where they put the law down that each person's only to have one child, and now they're regretting that decision. So yeah, but it's weird because now the U.S. and other places like that, it's not even a matter of people only having one children. There are a lot of men and a lot of women who aren't having children at all. So I think the like Western culture is in for a bit of a rough ride in about maybe 10 or 20 years when the older folks like us start getting old, and there isn't enough people coming behind to keep the country going. So it's going to be an issue.
Well, neither is helpful, right? So the one child policy in China just basically created a nation of male cousins, right? Very
Hmm.
few women to choose from. Um, and they're seeing the ramifications of that societally now. And then while we didn't have a one child policy in Western countries, America, Canada, across Europe,
Hmm.
it's this, personal choice to not have children at all is also problematic because your labor force in, whichever country we're talking about is going to be affected, like you said, 10, 15, 20 years from now. So there are ramifications on society for that as well.
Hmm. Yeah, definitely. So it's a weird one. So it's definitely a weird one, and just trying to understand, like just man, just everything just is it just feels like everything is upside down right now. It just feels like everything is upside down. And then the world is trying to convince us that right side is the right way up, and just the things that people are pushing, and I won't say propagating, but it's just it feels harsh. It feels horrible. So, but yeah, but that's what's up, and just got the notification that the Millionaire Morning Show is going to be on soon. So,
Mhm. Well,
so
we will see.
we can't miss that. Did you sorry to segue? Did you didn't watch the Thursday night show, do you?
No.
Oh my goodness. You will see some yet another rage quit last night. So I just because when I wake up it's 4 o'clock, and so it's pretty much just getting started. So you
Mm,
know, but yeah, we had someone rage quit last night. Tommy Sotomayor, he joined in last night. It's weird. I'm changing the conversation a little bit, but when I
right.
started when I started watching him like way back, whatever, I actually stopped watching him because I thought this guy was an idiot. But now I'm listening to it and I'm like, why did you think he was an idiot? Because a lot of the stuff he says is really, really thoughtful, and it's well thought out. And I'm just like saying, I'm just trying to figure out to myself, like, why did I think this man was talking rubbish? Like, I just really thought this guy was an idiot. And then I'm listening to him now and I'm like, what it'll be interesting to have a conversation with him, and just to try to figure out why I thought, or was I so caught up in the matrix that I just thought like what he was saying, and I didn't take on what he was saying. Mind you, if I had taken on what he was saying, this was, I think, while I was married or just before. Yeah, this was probably just and I might have still been married. So it's weird, but anyway.
Mm. So I don't know this particular person, but in general, like I try to be receptive to
Hmm.
different ideas, right? So it doesn't mean I'll listen to any willy nilly kind of thing, but if what someone is saying is rooted, and this goes back to what I was saying earlier, in a consistent set of values or principles, like I will start from there because it's just like, oh, okay, well that's perhaps not something that I've thought about, or that's not a particular approach that I've used to look at a situation to problem solve something. But it's
Hmm.
interesting to hear other people's perspectives, especially when it is rooted in a core set of consistent values, right? So
Yeah.
I think that's when you can take someone more seriously, even if it's not necessarily an opinion that you agree with or follow yourself.
Yeah, definitely. So they just touching on it. I keep thinking about it, and I know I can probably do a good reaction video, but I just don't feel like doing the work, putting the clips together and getting everything ready and to talk about what you need to talk about. But I just thought that
What
like
to talk about? What I mean,
like
I'm obviously like
we started
hearing.
sorry we segued into Tommy your guy Tommy's Tommy Sotomayor. How do you say his last name? S-
Sotomayor.
Sotomayor. There you go. And he was on the show last night, and it was really like it's weird. Even like not just last night, but a couple weeks ago. Like since he's come back on air, and I was telling Natasha, it's weird because probably about 10 years ago, maybe about 10 years ago, I was listening to him, and I thought this guy I thought he was a complete idiot. I'm like, you couldn't, I actually was listening to him, and then I switched off from him. I'm like, who is this guy? And I just thought everything he was saying was for the birds. And now I'm listening to him. I'm like, where's this guy been? He's sort of almost like he fits right in there with Kevin Samuels and everyone else, like with what he has to say and stuff. And it's just really weird how my I would say growth. It's going full circle and stuff, and to the point where like I last night I was just thought he was dropping like it was like mic drop after mic drop, And
He was on what show?
last night is it called? It's not Lapeef Sundays, but Thursday. Let's talk. That's what it's called.
Oh, he was on. Oh, okay.
Hmm?
So
Yeah,
I just want to be clear. You're saying that you listened to him before, and
yeah.
because he's really not saying anything different. Are you saying that what he was saying, you just weren't hearing it because your
Exactly.
mindset was different? Okay, that's what I thought.
Yeah, exactly. And like it baffles me because to me it just he's speaking like it's so well thought out. It's just I mean
He was the
it
only man that I used to, for like around 2011.
mhm.
He's like the reason why I even got a YouTube page at all.
You know what's funny as well? I think it was about like I think it was about 2 weeks ago, maybe 3 weeks ago, maybe even a little bit more. And I think when he was just before he came on Lucky Show or something, and you said you're listening to him and you know him and stuff and whatnot. And even as recently as then, I'm like, why are you listening to this guy? This is how recent the like just listening to him, like especially last night. Last night, the last time when he was on Lucky Show, um, yeah, it's just so weird. I'm just like, yo, what? I mean, I was I it's probably the reason why I am single today. It's probably the reason why um in this place trying to. It's because people were giving me game, people were trying to help me, and I was just so stubborn. And I know one place where I was stubborn, that was when I got married. And my coach told me, "You're not ready to get married yet. Don't do it." And I was like, I think I told you already, Kingdomminded. And I was like, I'm getting married, because I don't want my daughter born out of wedlock. But I wasn't listening. So I know for a fact a lot of like where I'm at right now is because I refuse to listen. I got it in my head that I knew what was best, and yeah, I was just gonna die on that hill, and I'm still on the hill. So I'm still on the hill, and the funny thing is, I can feel that same energy from my daughter, who like she's more focused on what her mother's telling her about me and all the things that I've done and all the things that I failed at. So it's weird. So when I do talk to her, it's almost like when Tommy Sotomayor was talking basically to me, and I wasn't paying him no mind. When my coach was talking to me, I wasn't paying him no mind. So it's the same thing. Like I'm getting that same energy from my daughter. So right now, even though she's still cold, like I just called in to check up on you. I'm like, no, you're just trying to stay in good favor. You know, I'm not playing that. You know, you want to call me and genuinely speak to me, call me and genuinely speak to me. They don't play that.
Yeah,
So,
I actually, yesterday was the first Thursday in probably 6 months that, or longer, that I did not watch Lapeef because the conversation usually are focused or centered around the same thing.
mhm.
So I went over to a different channel. I've been over there a couple of times, and I find the conversation just, I really like it. But now I got to go back and watch because was he a panelist on the show?
Yeah, they brought him on late in the show because Queen Sheba, she rage quit. Queen Sheba rage quit. Anton came in, he burned down the house. Queen Sheba wasn't having it, so she rage quit. She was out of there. And then once there was a space, then they brought up Tommy. So he filled in the gap quite nicely, and he just kept things going. So I think if Anton he's going to step down, if they bring in Tommy on Thursdays, I think it will be a fitting replacement. So yeah.
I think it would be. I think that's what that could salvage it because remember that. Well, I don't really want to get into it, but I told you after that one.
Go ahead. After that one, you still there?
I the baby is. I didn't want to mess up the
Yes.
sound, but
Oh, okay.
there that one day that we were speaking about what happened on that one show, I said there's gonna be a change that's gonna come because two ladies that are like very close were having issues. And I just think there's a lot of things were exposed that particular week. But I used to watch Tommy every single day
Hmm.
when he would go live. And if he's on there, like I want to email him so bad. I still have all of our emails that we went back and forth. I was
No, you should
so,
have. I wasn't even thinking. Sorry to cut you off. I wasn't even thinking. We could have probably just had him to come on, just like just talk, because it would have been perfect to talk after last night's, like after, like the morning after. It would have been perfect. It would have been really perfect. So I mean, maybe even for next week, reach out to him, see what he says. See what's up.
yeah, because I've been trying to have the conversation about mothers
Hmm.
as to it's it seems like mothers are just they get they take all of the accolades, but they never take any responsibility. And I remember I explained about how with sports, it bothers me because I have three sons. When I see these young boys that are getting into the NBA or the NFL, uh, and the first thing that they say is, I want to thank my mom and I want to be able to buy my mom a house.
Yep. He's
Well,
okay. Don't worry about him. Let him scream. He's okay.
my kids never have to worry about buying me a house because my husband bought it. My husband provides my vehicle. They
Hmm.
my lifestyle. I my Your son should not have to go out, and their story is that they had to work at a very young age because their mothers had so many children, and to help them get out of the situation that they were in, they're
Hmm.
not allowed to be children. Girls have to raise their I just saw a post, and it was so sad, and I'm trying to remember where it was at, but there I was watching like a how-to video,
Hmm.
and there was a young girl that put a question in the comments because she wanted them to go back over some stuff because she has an autistic sibling, and because her, I think she said she has like 14 siblings, and her
Yeah.
mother can't take care of all of them, but she needed help to do something, and it's her the responsibility to help raise these kids have fallen to her, and that's not fair. Kids ought to be able to be kids. So when you're talking about the one child thing, I agree with what Anton was saying, that you should be able to earn a certain amount of money before you have children, because those children lives are going to be hard.
Yeah.
If I have to go out and work, you know, 40, 50, 60 hours a week, when I do my stories about the children that have been kidnapped and murdered, it is
Mm,
because the parents, a lot of times, it is the parents or the mom is out working. Someone has been watching the house, or someone
yeah.
that the woman has invited into the home has now violated that daughter or
Mm,
violated that son. And if you made more money, you would not be in that situation.
definitely.
And when we continue to have more children that we can't afford, that oldest child is usually the child that suffers the most, because the more responsibility is put on that child. That's why my older boys, they don't change the baby's diapers. It's not their job. Not saying they
Hmm.
couldn't do it. I
Yeah.
just don't make them. It's not their job to take care of him. They watch him when I go to rehearsal,
Mm.
but I don't put that responsibility on them.
Yeah, they
I
help out.
don't.
Yeah, they help out.
I've been
I
trying to
totally get
find a
that.
nanny. Oh my
Yeah.
God. I've been trying to find a nanny, someone to come into the house, but just for language sake, culture
Hmm.
sake. And I just think we live too far out. I can't find anyone.
Yeah. Yeah, I heard that. I hope you do find someone because I think everyone deserves to have some type of balance in life. But at the same time, it's uh, I just think back to our parents, like our parents and our parents' parents. They did everything that we are attempting to do with a whole lot less, and they did pretty good. So I mean,
Absolutely.
so
Absolutely.
at the same time, I hear what you're saying and stuff, and I'm totally, I say, yeah, you need, but at the same time, I'm like, okay, like I feel like saying work it out, but it's you can't. It's a different time. It's a different day. Things move differently, things go differently. But yeah, so I totally get it. I totally get it. I understand. Things are not quite the same as they used to be. So everyone's busy, everyone's hands are full, everyone's trying to save the world instead of saving their family first. So that's what it feels like. It feels like at times that's what I'm trying to do. I want to create these channels. I want to broadcast the cycling. I want to make sure all the kids in Africa get bikes, and like you can't do everything. Your part and your place is whatever it is. You gotta take up your post, and wherever I land, and that's if that's going to be my post, that's going to be my post. So you have to you know do the best you can with what you're given. you know so
Absolutely.
but yeah. Tasha, you're quiet. You busy over there typing? Who you responding to?
I'm multitasking at all times, but I'm listening. It's a great conversation.
I know that this is Natasha, our resident. You like superhero. We got to find a superhero name for you,
I
because you
I want to
you
say,
you put the A in amazing.
Oh,
listen, when I was over in uh Fatty's channel, I said, now of all places that I decide to go on a live stream, I was totally expecting it to be, I wanted to be able to provide resources for domestic violence. And I felt like I got into something that I was in above. It's like, that's not my heart. Like, I'm not trying to shame her, but I felt like, and I'm like, oh my God, like, how I didn't know how to get out of it. I literally felt trapped. I said, I don't know if I should just exit because I didn't want to talk to her. And then somehow I saw Natasha. I think I put up my tablet, and I think I saw Natasha, and I was like, well, this is what I swear. I said, well, if Natasha is here, it can't be all bad.
Aw. No, I'm just an average Canadian. I call myself a born Canadian. I do appreciate the compliments, but as I um, chat with folks in the space, like if I can be helpful, if I can be of service, like it's absolutely my pleasure. To your specific point, Kingdom Minded, Ines will tell you too. I saw you on the screen and I was like, Ines, she did it! She's on a panel. I was so proud of you. So yeah, it was great to see you on panel. And I think you did bring a very good level of empathy. So I don't know if you're in like a nonprofit space or a social work kind of space. It's my professional but also natural tendency when I hear those types of conversations to provide, resources. I think this particular space needs a little bit more knowledge around that. Um, but they're also not professional journalists, right? Or they're not professional therapists. So I don't think it's a natural thing for everyone to put up, numbers for, hotlines if you're concerned about, self deletion, for example, because a lot of those
Hmm.
conversations happen in this space. Different types of assault, like where can you go? Are there shelters to make use of? Because ideally those are mentioned not only in the description of the video for anyone who's watching the playback later, but also like repeated by moderators in the chat. But I think we'll get there. So
Yeah.
if people jump up on panel like you did, Kingdom Minded, and bring that kind of awareness to, looking at resources, understanding the perpetrator side, but also the person who is being perpetrated against or who feels like they're being perpetrated against, I think it's a really aspect of the conversation.
Yeah, my part when I was there was I said in front of everyone, I said when I would wake up and I would hear her on the phone, her phone would be crackling and you couldn't understand her, and it would be, she was like a distraction. So, but see, I'm also a person of the word. So I probably kicked her off maybe like 4 times. I sent in a PayPal to have her kicked off.
You were sniping
And
last. You were sniping.
well, that with on Fight Club when she would be on, I did that. But then one day I was watching, and of course she was on there, and it's almost like I saw something deeper. And I've never kicked her off after that because I can tell that there's something that's just not quite there. And I never did it again because to me, that would make me a bully. And when I was kicking her off, I wasn't doing it to be mean, but I was doing it to be like, please save yourself. Like, please get off. But I saw something deeper that concerned me. And I want to bring up sometimes um, when I sit in the super chat with Anton because I know he knows what DV shelter that
Mm.
I'm I just know that he'll know which one I'm talking about because there was a really famous person from our state that was supposed to go there. and she didn't, and she was murdered.
Wow.
And it was a huge thing here in Michigan. So just being in that atmosphere, I was like, I think people are over here for views. I think this is being done for views. And I literally didn't know how to get out of it. But I was like, well, I could still salvage it. But when I said that I saw you over there, I was like, well, if Natasha is here, I think she's in the capacity of being a moderator. But if she's here, then I can't be in a super bad place. I
Hmm.
just think of reputation. And I was like, I don't think Natasha would ruin a reputation by being over here. So, okay.
What was the
You definitely help.
what was the conversation? I mean, I missed the
Well,
conversation. I haven't been able
well,
to find Betty. So
there was a lady that comes on Fight Club quite often.
Mm.
And she's always like really buttoned up. She's wearing a house coat and a scarf, and she wears glasses, and she's really timid. When this is like her affect, that's how she looks. She's like a
mm-hmm.
older lady.
Mm-hmm.
She acts older than what she is. Well, she came on the panel the other day with the black eye. She when she came up, she didn't come up to say. She
Wow.
just wanted to have a regular conversation. She just started out like it was a regular old day.
Like nobody
And
would notice.
then, yeah, and then someone in the chat said, are you guys going to address the fact that she has a black eye?
Mm-hmm.
And all throughout, just people literally come there because to them that's a safe place, which
Yeah.
sounds very irrational. I don't know how they can think Fight Club is a place to come. It's like they actually believe that they know these people, and they don't. You've never met. You're talking to someone through the internet on
Yeah.
a screen, and you're pouring out all of your life in front of these people who will make a joke out of you, who
Yeah.
will make a meme out of you,
Yeah. But
but
it's
they're
a place.
comfortable.
Yeah, it's a place where you can have a voice. And if she had a voice and then someone put hands on her, like she doesn't have to worry about that in this space. So I think that's a little bit why people feel safe, because now they can be vocal. Because you see, like, like I'm pretty sure Natasha's seen it. Like, because have you been to any of the meetups, Natasha?
Officially, no, but I do meet with bag chasers, like one on
Yeah.
one or in small groups.
Well, I guess you can't speak to it then. Like, and I'm not surprised that, like, like what people like Logic and other people like Anton have said, like, you, and even Trigger Mike said that certain people, like, they're on the stream, and then when they meet him in person, they're like, this is not the same person. So like being online allows people to just this freedom. You feel, it's like whatever weight is on your back in the presence of people. When you're online, you don't have that. It's totally different. That's why, Mr. Laco, he says some stuff. Sometimes he's okay, but I feel like because he's in a place where, and now he's actually transferring his online persona to that person in person. Because if you watch some of his like, because he showed clips of where he's talking to women and stuff, in person. And so now he's actually embodied this person who he's projecting and stuff. And I was like just thinking about last night how, someone actually finally brought it up. It's like we speak, you speak on these panels and stuff, and you talk on these panels, but the panels don't represent, like, what you're trying to speak into the future. There should be more like couples, like more like people who are successful in life, if it's financially, if it's marriage wise. whatever it is. You should have more successful people on there, not just like just random people who are on there just to have a loud voice. And it feels like some people are like, Mr. Lacko has his moments, but I personally feel like he's just a loud voice, you know.
I,
And yeah.
again, I don't, for the life of me, when I hear him speak, he makes no sense to me.
He got shut
I'm
down so much last night.
I it's I don't know, to me that may speak to the quality of people or why we have the way that we have things, because I don't
Hmm.
know how anyone is healed and can move forward with him being in charge of them. Me personally, because you can see him talk and he'll be on one side 1 minute and then,
Yeah,
oh, yeah,
exactly.
I see. It's like, now Trigger Mike, I could see that. I really could see that. But
Yeah.
Even Bruiser,
Bruce has been
Bruiser is
dropping.
funny.
Bruce has been mic dropping lately. Bruce has been on point. So, but I was gonna say,
He's
Mr.
very,
Lacko is like a coin. Whichever side of the coin lands, that's which side Mr. Lacko is choosing.
yeah. Like I said, even Chaotic Truth, I always super chat and I let him know that my hands are sudsy, that I have the mop and a broom. I make sure I let him know that, because in that aspect, most women would say I'm a slave. No, sweetheart. I am at
Natasha, you
peace.
hear that, Natasha? Are your hands sudsy, Natasha?
I let him know. I tell him I just put my broom down, or I just put my little mop away. I have a very expensive type mop.
Hmm.
And
He probably loves you.
well, I don't, because I don't see what he's saying that's wrong.
Yeah,
But
exactly.
Mr. Let it go, sir, let it go.
Yeah.
No,
Tell me. There's the girl from
don't
England.
tell me. Don't.
No, no, no. The girl from England last night, Chan, right? She was on, and I have no idea, but she had this bright blue lipstick on, and she had a jacket that matched the lipstick. So I'm like, how you saying like, the girl had the black eye, and no one gonna say anything about it. So I'm like, is no one gonna address this just Chan and this blue lips? So towards the end of the show, Tommy was on the speaking and stuff, and he was he cracked a joke on it, and he said, "Oh, it looks like Chan gave Papa Smurf a blowjob, right?" Oh my goodness, she got so upset, and then
Really.
Tommy walked it back. Look, it was just a joke. I apologize, and she just like, oh my goodness, you
You
just
know another
go
reason.
look for a clip. Hmm?
I'm gonna have to go and watch it. But the reason I'm glad that he's there, I think he would do well on Fight Club. Uh,
Probably.
but I think people would probably kick him off a lot. But the reason I think he would do well there is he has a he you're going to hear a lot of his colloquialisms, things that
Hmm.
he has said that I've heard people physically say, I've
Yeah.
never even heard of Tommy Sotomayor, but you speak his talking points. The
Yeah.
hare-headed hooligan, Tommy invented that. If there's more than so many black people, like, I'm not going to be there. He went from number 1 all the way to number 10. He had something
Hmm.
for each, to the point that my kids knew it.
Oh, okay.
Like, if there's more than 3, there I will not be. Tommy came up with all that stuff.
Yeah. He was
And
good
a
last
lot
night.
of people, I'm going to have to email him, but I don't have my stuff set up.
Well, you don't have to. I mean, I'm like we have the platform here. So I'm like, if you can reach out to him, I'm like, yo, I
But
mean, and if he goes on like next Thursday, and there's another show, that good show next Thursday, it'll be the perfect after talk show, and it'll be an exclusive. It'll be exclusive because you get to talk to him directly, and I definitely would like to talk to him and like just say like, yo, and like just try to figure out what it was like where I was at, why I was so rebellious to what he was saying, and now I'm so receptive to what he's saying. It just boggles the mind. So, but I mean, it'll be good. I mean, reach out to him. We're here. I'm paying the money for the stream yard. I might as well use it. So,
Yeah, I just want the reason that I said that is because if Tommy comes to your show, he's going to bring numbers. So I'm like, I would get subscribers, although, again, I don't think I would, because I remember telling him I'm not a fan of anybody except
mhm.
for my boys, my husband, and God. That's it. I don't know if he took that well, but I
As it should
literally
be.
came to YouTube because he was there, and
Yeah.
the thoughts that I had, how I was looked at in a weird way or thought to be a certain type of person, here it is, this man is saying it, and I was like mesmerized. I was like, oh my God, these are my inner thoughts.
Yep.
Minus the cursing and the I don't like that he calls women bees because I think you can speak. But whenever I called into his show twice because he would have a phone number, he
Hmm.
never cursed when we would be on the phone. He never cursed. No, no, I know. Give me a kiss. Well, I need. Yeah, I love you. Yes.
So we got 5 minutes left. I'm gonna keep it at an hour, keep it tight because we did start a little bit late because I
Oh
was
wait,
having technical difficulty.
did
He's
Anton start at 10 o'clock?
no, he starts at 3, isn't it? He shouldn't be on this yet, is he?
No, it's 10:20. Cause he
Is he on
started.
now?
He comes on earlier now.
Yeah, but I thought it was like 2 o'clock or 3 o'clock or something like that. Oh, it is two
Mm,
o'clock. So anyway, well, let's wrap this up then. If he's on, and let's wrap this up. And I'm not gonna hold it, and we can work on something for next week. And Natasha, again, thank you. Kingdom minded, thank you.
Thank you, Natasha.
Yeah, always a pleasure to chat with you both.
Okay,
Yes.
and hopefully my thing will be together. I have it figured out. I gotta
No,
get it
no.
figured out by this afternoon. So,
Booyah.
but
Booyah.
So I'm gonna drop you guys out so that you guys can go and do what you need to do, and we will speak
Oh,
soon.
he
In
just
the chat
started.
in Anton's live. So, yes, thank you guys. See you in a little bit.
Yes.
Alrighty,
Talk to you
speak soon.
soon.
All
Bye
right.
bye.
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 So we out. That's it. That's Inish Luby Friday morning's tea with Kingdom Minded and Natasha. And if you do get a chance to listen back to this. We just talked about a random bunch of things. We started off with Jaden and what he's wearing on this magazine. And Kingdom Minded had just when I sent her the picture, that was her basically her comment back to me. So I thought it was a fitting title for the thumbnail. So I just posted that. Like, is this? Let's find it. Is this why nations fall? So, but anyway, like I said, if you did tune in, I appreciate your listening and having a few technical issues with the camera and stuff. So that's why you don't see me. So hopefully I can get that sorted out by next week. Actually, it has to be sorted out by later this afternoon because I have another show which is just cycling talk, and we're gonna go from there. And I'm going to be out, and I will see you next week. And hopefully, if things go to plan. We might even have a special guest next week. All right. Peace out. See you guys later. Have a good day. Have a good weekend. Be safe. Don't be sorry.